Welcome to the Nexus of Adventure, where stories transcend the page, a place where heroes and villains clash. This is Break, Battle, and Roll. It's once again time to break, battle, and roll. Welcome back, everybody, for our very exciting and anticipated episode. Woo! Let's get the introductions done with starting with Chad Stafford.
Oh, you've activated my fight or flight response, and I am a flightless bird. It's Timothy Biscuit.
And Janelle Wilkie.
Playing Flowerkraut, who is feeling very nervous, but comes equipped with hearts and farts.
You can just send hearts that are kind of Trojan horses with farts inside of them to trick people.
Oh, can I do that? Oh my god, yes.
Oh, I mean, it's like a smoke cloud, you know? You just let the elderly blast go and it's just a heart shape as it floats towards them.
Oh my god, yes. Is that rude, Timothy? Like a Kenku heart smoke bomb?
Here comes the hearty fart.
Oh, Brussels sprouts, gross.
Like, not only is this poor Kenku, like, we have to take his heart so he doesn't get to move on, but now Flowerkraut's farting it.
Aw.
Absolute disrespect.
So disrespectful.
Oh, but last but not least, Dustin Bleshmidt.
Sherman Jeopard, I don't have anything to hit people with, so I guess I'm gonna have to use my fists.
You've got a shield, right?
I mean, I have a shield, but that's more like, get away, sir. Or ma'am.
Shield's like the best weapon. Have you seen Captain America?
No.
Not that play.
Are you talking about Captain Archipeldia?
Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry. I slip of the tongue. I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, let's get right into this with our recap on our last break, battle, and roll with Flowerkraut safely back with her friends at Raven's Outpost. She broke the silence on what the final ingredient to the mind control canceling mixture is to Sherman and Timothy. She went on to apologize for keeping them in the dark and explained that she had hoped to figure this out all by herself. Through the shock, Timothy beckoned the Creckle Oracle over and explained the situation. After thinking it over, the Oracle presented the predicament in regard to Snapping Twig, the Creckle Guard. In death, the Kenku are burned so that they can be rejoined with the sky, but they must be whole. As such, she told Timothy that the Creckle would have to vote whether or not his heart could be taken to create the salve. As the Creckle gathered nearby, Timothy opened up to them. He beseeched the other Kenku to reflect on who they were and how they have had to live their lives. That finding a home was something always out of reach, but that Glavio was right here, and if they were willing to fight for it, they could stay. The Oracle initiated the vote, and Tumbleweed expressed that Snapping Twig was the hero who would make it possible for all of Glavio to be saved. As emotions ran high, all of the Creckle agreed to allow Snapping Twig's heart to be used in the concoction, and that they would not do as the Kenku do, but stay this time in the face of danger. Flowerkraut created Baba Yaga's salve, and everyone left Raven's Outpost. The Oracle assigned the 8 most capable Creckle scouts to go with the adventurers to the Gallant Peak. Timothy gave Tumbleweed his scarf for good luck and told him to stay safe as they headed north. The group followed Flowerkraut's path that she had walked before towards Aster's cave. As they approached the ridge, however, they could see 7 Apostleship disciples standing as sentries before the cave's entrance. And that is where we left off.
Is Bernice one of those sentries, by the way?
Bernice is one of those sentries.
Oh boy.
And as we get into this, you guys had just leveled up to 5.
That's right.
So I'm going to go ahead with some little video game rules here. and a sparkle of light just bursts over your character as you leveled up. Your hit points filled up, your spell slots came back. It's basically like a magical long rest.
It is Miriam's will. Oh, my fragment of Miriam.
Truly Miriam's blessing.
So this is up to you guys now to come up with a plan. You have the three of you. You've got Brandy, and you've got 8 of these Creckle scouts who are with you. They're all equipped with short swords, short bows with quiver and arrows, and they are all carrying plenty of rope. Basically, think of the scouts or the guards that were guarding the Helax back when they were being kept in that little alcove, a little area in the Pillars of Salt. So they are for you to command. Make up whatever plan you'd like. Understand that there are 7 Apostleship sentries standing in front of Aster's cave. They look as if they have been given command to not let anyone enter, and you all have seen what Bernice is capable of.
So that being said, if they follow a similar technique to Bernice, that's all up close and personal fighting.
Oh yeah. I have an idea if we don't want to attack them.
I'd prefer that because there are friends, right?
And I think they could help us, and maybe it'll be a chance to test out this salve, which, by the way, I think, Sherman, you are probably right. Let's maybe smudge a little bit on ourselves before this gets started, because the last thing we want is for us to fall under Aster's influence, you know?
Oh, no, that wouldn't be good. I have a thought while we're rubbing ourselves down to wow. I have a thought.
He uses all the salve in one application.
No, Sherman!
No,
Just sunscreens himself.
it's just one. Hold on. I'll Simba.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Simba little smear over the forehead. That's all that is needed with this salve.
So I know you're really good at tying rope. What if we had the Creckle have their rope and you wove it into like a big net and they shot it with tied to arrows, like all together, like a big arrow net, and it went and it shot them, and then they were like, oh no, we can't move, we're in a net, and then we went over and we helped them snap out of it. It's hard to punch things when you're in a net.
Yeah, sort of a similar plan. First of all, if your sword happens to be available and has a charge, we could use the chains on them. But if you're not willing to do that...
Sherman, I know it's difficult, but let's at least consider that sword as a backup plan if everything goes, well, poorly.
It's the way to keep us safe.
Sherman looks at the sword, kind of, he's like over his shoulder. It's I guess wrapped in cloth, but in its sheath, I think is the way I stored it.
Well, Brock had put it into a sheath of his own to basically contain it.
Yeah, something like that. So it's still on my back like it normally would be. So I look over my shoulder at it and have one thought, and then be like, I mean, maybe if I hold the other end, I can use it like a club and just like knock him out a little bit, but I don't know.
Sherman, I know you hate Sir Leon, but you do have to consider that this might be the safest way to get these guys on our side and do the least amount of damage.
I think we all have a lot of thinking to do and not a lot of time to do it.
So let's talk about the different options you guys have presented. And mind you, the Creckle will do whatever you guys want them to do. They're here to resolve the situation and save the Helax. I don't think the Creckle cared that much about the Apostleship, but...
Kill the tax collectors!
Yeah, they'll never know we're here if they die. So then there's the rope plan. If you were to have a lattice woven together with the ropes, yeah, it would take some time. And secondly, you're probably only going to be able to maybe capture 1 or 2 of them if they're a good shot. That leaves like 5 apostles that are still up. So it's not an unviable. I'm not trying to nix any of these ideas. I'm giving you guys like kind of game meta information about them because they have limited rope. They each are carrying about 40 feet of rope on each of the Creckles. They've got them all wound up. That's what they were using when they, Planet Hoth, the Helix in the other fight you guys were in. So they can use the ropes to basically try to bind them down and hold them down, or to just run circles around them or whatever it is. The Kenku are incredibly fast and agile. But as we've seen contrast between the bulky, strong Helix and the fast Kenku, you know that the Apostleship are fast too. So it might prove even more difficult for them to be running circles around very agile Apostleship disciples.
We could also possibly use our combined mage hands to pick at least 2 targets to hit with the salve first.
Oh my god, that's true. The hands could have the salve on them.
It's going to be difficult to get all of them at once, but even if we get 1 or 2 to start with, that's more people on our side to explain the situation and, incapacitate the rest of them and hopefully cure them.
So let me give you some meta information about that plan. 1, you guys will have to get within 30 feet of whoever you're going to try to apply the salve to.
How far are they now?
You guys are behind a ridge. You're probably 300 feet from them right now.
Oh my god, okay.
I mean, you guys are having to plan it. If you guys get any closer, you begin to risk them seeing you or hearing you. So as you approach this area, you're going to have to make stealth rolls to make sure that you're not heard. And they're on high alert right now. Secondly, Mage Hand is not an invisible spell unless you're a trickster rogue. So your hand will be floating towards them. If they see your hand coming at them with a little smudge of something on it, they may try to be like, what the hell's that? And dodge it or whatever. They're going to be, I'm just saying that if they're looking around, you will have to roll a couple stealth checks to try to get this mage hand to your target without them seeing it.
Well, I have a new plan. What if I lead the Creckle as a diversion and you 2 sneak into the cave undiscovered?
Oh, are you wanting to draw them all out to the mouth of the cave and then we'll surprise them with smudges? Timothy and I will have a smudge on our hands, and our mage hands will have smudges, and Brandy will have a smudge.
Some sort of diversion tactic like that may work, especially when you have something fast like a sandbuck.
Huh? You have a sandbuck on you?
Something's telling me deep inside my heart of hearts that if I reach into my pocket, I can pull out a horse.
It's like a ram, though.
It'll be big. It'll be big enough for me.
Oh.
It'll be a big one. It'll be like the matriarch.
Oh, and sandbucks are the size of horses.
Wait, what the hell? Wait, what are you talking about, Sherman?
I can find a steed and ride it into battle. And if said steed is fast enough, I can create a pretty good diversion and have them chase me away from the mouth of the cave.
Okay, cool.
Last thought, Flowerkraut, when you were under the spell, were you aware of what was going on?
Yes, I was.
Were you aware, or was there some sort of connection to other people under the spell?
Aaron, there wasn't, right?
There was not.
There was not.
Then there's no reason why they wouldn't believe that Sherman isn't under a spell, right?
Oh.
Are you telling me that I should be an actor?
Aster, though, she knows what we're up to.
I didn't think about Aster.
She's the one that's manipulating. She's the puppet master behind this whole thing.
Exactly. Flowerkraut, you remember, first off, you were aware of what you were doing, and that is why you guys were able to easily find where this cave was, because you just retraced the path that you took when you were under her control. you also know that anything you did came as kind of like a subconscious command to you. And that wasn't, you weren't just given a program to start with. You were being issued things as you got there. You were told when to stop walking. You were told to follow her into the portal. You were told all of the things that you did. So you know that Aster is kind of the puppet master who's pulling the strings at all times throughout the whole experience. So, but yes, you also are very conscious of the fact that the disciples are standing there, unable to control themselves, but fully aware of what they're doing, and that if you can get the salve on their forehead and break this, they will know where they've been and what they've done and what's going on around them.
Yeah, they'll be in the fray with us, which is handy at least. We won't have to get everybody up to speed. They'll know exactly what's going on.
So all we need is a diversion long enough for you and I to get to them. If not up close and personal, then
Yeah, if Sherman's the main diversion, anyone who's willing to carry a bit of salve can try and jump them while they're coming for us, or coming for Sherman.
well, the more people that are with us, the less likely we're going to be stealthy enough. So I'd be fine if it's just you and me. I don't want to put any more people in danger.
So if Sherman's plan would be to summon a steed, go cause a distraction, get them to leave the mouth of the cave, or they're standing out in front of the cave.
And that's when we all jump, so we can be stealthy and wait for them.
Yes. If so, you guys are gonna have to discuss: is Sherman gonna take them for a tour around Glavio, or is he gonna lead them back to you guys into an area where you can ambush them? What is gonna be the ultimate plan so that you guys can be prepared? In the meantime, you guys have the three of you at least, have applied some salve to your foreheads, correct?
Just Sherman and me, because Timothy doesn't need it.
Right. Just Timothy doesn't need it. So, Flowerkraut, I would like you to roll a medicine check.
I was actually gonna ask you how much it looks like is left in my 14.
Okay, 14. The check was basically a 12. You kind of judge your little smears and how much it took to put a proper amount. You come to the conclusion that this salve started with 12 applications and you're down to 10.
Oh, goody. Well, I mean, the Apostleship will be good to have on our side.
Wait a second. I look to my Creckle brethren and I think for a moment about all of the traps and mechanisms that we had to overcome to get to Raven's outpost. And then I wonder if they could help us build some sort of trap, even if it's just with ropes, something that when they go to chase Sherman, we can trip them up long enough for us to jump in and apply the salves.
So do you thieves cant some of this stuff to them to kind of get an idea?
Yes, so as soon as that thought comes into my brain, I start to thieves cant basic, just like traps, like just, mechanisms. I like take the rope and like I like pull it tight, and make it so that it seems like my hand like trips over it. Like I'm trying to convey the idea of incapacitating them in a way that is non-lethal as possible.
Okay, so you convey like hey, can we make some traps with that might give us an edge on these guys if we were to lead them into them? They express back to you in thieves cant. Basically, one, a pit trap would take too long for us to dig, so we can't go with that. We can do some tripwires.
Yep.
And maybe maybe even a tripwire that activates like a rock or something to fall on you. They kind of search around their equipment to see what they have at their expense. Like they don't really have a whole lot of wood with them, so they can't make cages or anything. That would take a lot of time.
Nope. I think even just if it's a tripwire, if they're chasing after Sherman and we can trip even one or two of them up, that's two more people that we can get back on our side.
Yeah. Let's hide and trip them.
One of the Creckle reaches down, finds a couple of rocks, starts fidgeting with the rope and everything, and she holds up a makeshift bola.
Ooh.
I like how you're thinking, friend.
You see, that's kind of like what I was thinking, but very small. That might work better.
All right, Sherman. We can lay some traps and we'll be ready for them. Are you sure you're up for this?
We have more choices than we have time, so we gotta make our move. I can do it. I can lure them out if everyone else is ready to ambush.
We'll be ready for them.
Yes.
God, how big is a sandbuck and what stats does it have? Is it like a draft horse?
Let's find out. I would say a sandbuck probably has about a donkey's stats.
A donkey. Okay. Hold on a second. That's enough. That's enough of the Christ allegories, okay? He's coming in riding on a donkey and right before certain death. Oh my gosh. I have the stats for a mule.
Yeah, a mule.
Okay. Wonderful. Hold on. I want to read off this great description here.
Oh my god, I'm ready.
Beast of burden. The mule is considered to be a large animal for the purpose of carrying capacity. And it also has sure-footed. The mule has an advantage on strength and dexterity saving throws made against effects that would knock it prone. Cool.
All right, so here's the thing, Dustin. Because I'm gonna change up what I said because this isn't an actual like sandbuck. I'm just saying, like, if you were to actually get a real sandbuck and jump onto it, it's gonna act more like a mule. But because you're using a magical spell to summon, like a steed fit for combat,
A spectral buck.
It is smart. It becomes smart. Its intelligence becomes at least 6.
Oh my god. I was picturing like the derpiest donkey just stepping into frame and like, what am I doing here?
and I'm guessing it's gonna be like a celestial.
Yes, I can talk to it. I mean, I can talk to it anyway.
It's gonna have the stats of a riding horse, even though it's in the form of a sandbuck.
Oh, a spectral jive horse.
As much as that would be cool, he's busy. And we're on Glavio, so a sandbuck it is.
Okay.
All right, we got riding horse. Riding horse is a lot faster. This is great, actually.
Flowerkraut is giving a little bit of goo to Brandy's tentacle so that she's ready to jump attack.
Oh my gosh, she could jump right on someone's face.
Yes, she certainly can.
Just remember, no brains.
No sucking the brains.
You're still covered in brains from the last thing.
Yeah, aren't you stuffed?
You just devoured the biggest brain, although it was probably the dumbest animal you've ever seen. It was all junk food.
Not much brains though.
That was like a psychic donut.
Empty carbs.
Psychic Donut is like our band.
It's our new band name.
It's our bard band name. Our barned name. We're a barn because we're all animals that could be on a barnyard.
Let's see. Mage Hand lasts for 1 minute, so she's gonna wait to cast Mage Hand until they're in range.
Okay.
And then, so she's gonna hold an action to cast Mage Hand to get a little goo, and she's gonna have goo on her finger too.
All right, so you guys are essentially getting to the ambush spot, right? So
Yeah.
you're setting up. You've got the Creckle moving around. They're setting up any trip wires that they can.
Yep, I'm helping them out.
Okay, go ahead, Timothy, and give me a survival roll.
Ooh, not super good at survival, but let's see what happens. That's a 10.
Okay, you're helping them, and if it only like you're finding rocks so that they can make more of these rock bolas. The Creckle seem to be very familiar with this kind of activity. They usually set traps to catch the grubs.
I'm definitely learning. I'm learning from them at this point.
Yeah.
Much different than my flock.
So after it's all said and done, Each of the Creckle scouts has one of the bola, so they made 8. So they can throw a bola and see if they can like trip up, or maybe like if they catch them in the midsection, they could keep the enemy or the target from being able to move their arms if they hit. And then there are 4 trip traps. They were only able to find like 4 areas where they could actually set up wire or like, you know, the rope to stretch across, and they will show Sherman the locations of these tripwires so that he knows if he's going to be running through this area, he's got to jump over these. So Sherman, you're going to have to commit these to memory.
Okay. So there's one there, and there's one there. Was there more?
They show you 2 more.
Oh crap. It's 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
I can count.
Let's try to theater the mind paint this ambush area. It's kind of a U shape. So you guys decided on this little location where you've got some of the pillars of salt that you can hide behind, somewhere you can stay out of vision. And as you come riding through, they have set up 4 tripwires in a U shape so that when you come riding in here, you start to turn and go through there. And then if they're following you, they will go right through this area. Everyone else can be hiding behind pillars to jump out and do whatever they're going to do.
I instruct Brandy to climb up a pillar a little bit, but also stay behind, just so she can attack from height.
She climbs up in the shade and just kind of perches up on a rocky ledge.
Yeah, go for it, girlfriend.
All right, so any other preparations that you guys need to make before you pull this off?
Timothy, you want a little bit of this goo?
Yes, please, let me take some, and I'm just gonna try and stealth my way over to... Bernice is going to be my first target, but if I can't get to her, I will just go for the next one.
All right. And remember, well, you two know, but our Creckle friends, if it comes down to hand combat, take care of yourselves, but try to subdue. If you're able to cover and muffle their mouths, that is their source of true power.
Ah, good call, Sherman.
The Creckle all look among each other and they turn to you and go, yes, yes, yes.
Shh, not so loud.
All right, before we get going, I need to prep an action real quick.
Okay.
I think I go to the opposite side of where Flowerkraut's camping out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to hide, and then I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on myself.
All right.
And I'm going to specifically, I draw like a little sigil in the air with one of my loose feathers, as if it was a quill, and I draw a little rudimentary picture of a cat, and I cast Cat's Grace on myself to give myself advantage on dexterity checks.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, Flowerkraut lets everyone know, hey, whoever trips, that's the one I'm going for. I am not athletic, dexterous, hands aren't slidey, nothing.
And I'm going specifically for Bernice, so...
If there's anyone that won't trip, it's probably her.
Probably gonna be Bernice. She's far too cool.
She's too fucking cool.
Just a fair warning, don't show her your back.
What? Why?
If they can see your back and you can't see them, you're in trouble.
Oh.
Okay, well, let's see, how does this recipe work? So Sherman's going to just draw a very crude design in the sand.
Oh, Tumbleweed has taught everybody to draw.
Yes! And then...
Why is the horse trampling one of us?
Hey, what the hell?
Oh, sorry, that's supposed to be one of,
That's not a horse.
Anyway, you'll see in a second. Sherman looks up to the sky and, like, it looks like he's talking to nothing. And then he's like, okay. So like this? And he holds his shield up into the air, and a beam of light comes down onto the shield and then reflects onto the little drawing, and then a fairly decently sized sandbuck just starts crawling out of the earth.
Whoa!
That sounds horrifying.
Sherman, what's going on?
Oh, it's fine. This is Barnaby. Barnaby, hello.
Good to see you, Sherman.
Wonderful.
Does everyone else hear it talk?
Is that in my brain?
That's a good question. You said you can talk to it. It says it gains the ability to understand one language of your choice.
I can talk to it telepathically as long as it's within a mile of me, but I don't know if it can talk unless you want it to talk.
I'm going off the fact that you can speak with animals, so you can understand it, but nobody else can. It's just making sandbuck noises.
Okay, so here's how this goes. Technically, while our relationship is that you are my steed, I prefer to ask you if that's cool, so that we're just working together like good friends, as opposed to like an owner-owned situation.
It's my job.
It's a living.
Let me be your steed.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hop on your back, and then we're gonna go do some running around, and you'll be just fine, okay?
If you say so, Sherman.
Oh my god.
This is the slowest talking animal for something so fast. Okay, and then I climb on to a celestial saddle.
Okay.
Oh, snazzy.
A celestial saddle that just literally appears as I'm climbing on.
And a celestial bridle appears as well.
All right, so here we go. Is everybody ready?
As ready as we'll ever be.
Aye, aye. Ready.
Go get him, Sherman. You've got this, bud.
Okay.
Creckle, prepare yourselves.
The Creckle are all out of sight, hiding behind all the pillars and in position. So, Flowerkraut, you gave a smudge to Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
You gave a smudge to Timothy.
Mm-hmm.
So you currently have 8 smudges left.
All right, and I have one prepared on my finger too.
Okay.
So 7 left.
We should definitely save one for Califran, because I am not looking forward to having to face against him.
Oh boy, you got that right, buddy.
So Sherman, Barnaby is incredibly fast for being so slow of speech. You give a couple circles around the area. Maybe you hop over the tripwire just to kind of get yourself
Up.
and you are prepared to head towards Aster's Cave.
Okay, so on my mark, we're gonna trot up like we're supposed to be there, right? Like, oh yeah, this is us. Got it?
I get it.
Okay, so here, that happens.
Okay. So you trot up on Barnaby, and you're basically bringing yourself into vision of the Apostleship, correct?
Yes.
So let me also paint the path here a little bit as to where everyone's hiding and where you're going. Everyone is at a little bit of a lower elevation from where you are. You have to kind of go up the side of a ridge to get up to this very flat area in front of Aster's Cave. I would say maybe like 60 feet wide, flat, rocky. I mean, there's rock and everything, but it's not hilly at all. And then the cave is at the far end. So in order to get back to where everybody is, you would have to run back across this thing, down essentially a stone ramp, kind of down this ridge, and then through some of the pillars of salt until you get to this little area where everyone is waiting, hiding. You pull yourself up there on Barnaby's back, and the second your head crests the ridge, you can see some of the Apostleship just like snap their heads towards you, and they bring their fists up into a fighting position. But they haven't moved yet. Not a single chime goes off either. You notice that the Apostleship are not needing or being they're not talking to each other because they're all under a spell.
So from here, since they are prepped, I am going to get a little bit closer.
Okay.
And just kind of start showboating a little bit. Like doing some like show horse equestrian stuff.
Okay.
Like talk, 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 talk. Oh, what's wrong? Are you guys scared of just one little guy? I'm just a little guy on a little sandbuck.
And I'm just a little sandbuck. Oh, they can't understand me.
You're not little. You're very big and you're very strong and I respect you.
Oh, thank you.
But let's pretend.
Okay.
So Sherman, you have the option of rolling either a deception check, an intimidation check, or performance check if you want to try to convince them to come out at you.
Okay. Those are all the same. So let's just see what happens. Ooh, 17 plus 2, 19.
Okay. So you showboat a little bit, and then give me a perception check.
Okay. Is this a scent-based perception check or not?
This is vision.
Vision. Okay. That's just gonna be 14.
14. Okay, that's still good enough. You notice that something seemingly jerks 4 of the apostles to change their position. They've been standing very still, very sentry-like this whole time until they see you come up. All of their fists go up. You do the showboat thing. 4 of them jerk and then begin to walk towards you. There's 3, however, standing behind them that continue to stand in that same position with their fists up.
Okay.
You see 4 of them begin to sprint towards you.
Is Bernice part of those 4?
Yes.
Okay. You know what we call that in my neck of the woods? Good enough. So I'm like, oh, all right, start backing up.
All right.
They're a little bit okay. We don't have to full tilt just yet.
Oh, they're fast. We better go, Sherman.
How much closer are they now?
So they bursted into a sprint, and so you were showboating about 60 feet from them because that's.
Oh shit! Yeah, go get out of here.
Hold on, Sherman. Gotta make sure to signal.
Gotta be safe about this.
I am holding the gas at the second light.
So that's how wide this area is, about 60 feet. And you're doing this at the very end of it.
Okay.
So they break into a sprint, and they clear like half of that distance before you like turn yourself around completely and start heading away.
Sherman's never had to do a 3-point turn before.
Oh no.
Oh, that's not in the manual.
You dash down the ridge, and because you are now in full sprint as you get away from these things, but also kind of keep them in your view, you don't want to lose them.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to roll an animal handling check.
I'm just a little guy.
Oh boy.
Animal handling.
This has tripped us up in the past.
This has never come up before. This has never been a problem.
Oh boy. Oh, 17 plus 1, 18.
Nice.
Okay. All right.
I'll take it.
So you're doing a pretty expert job at, keeping you and Barnaby from like flying off the edge of the ridge while you're, navigating this, stopping for just a split second so that you can like entice the disciples, like they have a chance of catching up with you. You're definitely faster than they can move on the steed's back. So you head back down, you turn, you're now navigating through the pillars of salt. You kind of circle around a pillar just to kind of give them, another little glimpse of hope that they might catch up to you, maybe confuse them a little bit. They get down to the bottom of the ridge, the 4 disciples. They are power sprinting at you, and you then hear them bellow their voices, and you see them speed up.
Oh no, don't do that. That's not. You don't need to. No,
They're going into the Naruto run.
Oh, they look so cool.
You continue as you push Barnaby as fast as he can go. And now you are getting into that area, and the first tripwire is approaching. I need you to roll another animal handling check to make sure that you can keep Barnaby from actually catching the tripwire.
All right, Barnaby, it's me and you. It's me and you, buddy. Now remember what? Oh shit, I didn't tell you about. Okay. Jump. Oh shit. That's a 6.
No.
Oh, fuck.
You tell him to jump just a smidge too late, and Barnaby catches. I'm gonna go ahead and roll for him to see if he can. I'm gonna give him a dex save.
Okay, his dex is flat.
Okay. Well, fortunately, Barnaby rolled a 19 on the die.
Whoa!
Woo.
So he catches the rope, but he kind of plays it off by kind of turning his body 180 degrees.
Whoa!
And like to try to keep his momentum from going. And then as he turns, he lifts his front hooves over the rope. So he like caught it, flipped around, lifted up his hooves. You guys land on the other side of the tripwire, but you're now facing the Apostleship that are heading your direction. So you're having to like turn around and get his momentum going again, and they're basically gonna catch you in this next round. I actually need you to roll an initiative roll with me.
Initiative roll. Initiative roll. 19.
Okay, I'm rolling for the four apostles, the disciples, I should say. And fortunately for you, 19 beats all of them. Wait, hold on. Let me check their bonuses. Actually, you tie with one of them, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that's Bernice.
That would make sense.
So you, on the same turn as you basically are pulling the reins around on Barnaby and getting him to go again, she gets to the head of the pack, jumps into the air, and she is going to try to give you a flying spinning kick as you get going, but you will get going before the rest of them can get to you. Because of this, Bernice is going to jump. I haven't rolled to see if they see the tripwire, but she's definitely going over it because she's flying up in the air at you. So she's going to make a single attack before you are. This is essentially her catching you and getting an opportunity attack as you are moving away again.
Gotcha.
All right. She rolls an 18 to hit.
That's my AC.
Okay.
Even with the shield. Yep.
She does 7 points of force damage to you.
Okay.
And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. A dexterity saving throw?
Yes. You can add your shield to this.
Yes, okay. Because it's only targeting me.
Yep.
Gotcha. Well, are you sure that I can't just grip really hard with my thunderous thighs against this sand buck using athletics?
I will allow an athletics, a strength saving throw. That's fine.
Okay.
You become one with Barnaby for a moment.
I don't know if it's gonna matter, because even with a +7, that's a 10.
Oh, God.
She kicks you right off of Barnaby.
Oh, no. Do any of us have the opportunity to jump into the initiative now?
You guys can all roll initiative at this point, although remember, if you guys want to use these tripwires, you're going to have to give them reason to run across them.
Yeah, Flowerkraut's gonna wait until somebody trips, but if someone gets in Brandy's range, let me know.
Okay.
Because Brandy will jump down on them.
So go ahead and roll initiative for me.
14.
Flowerkraut's got 1.
Oh no.
You said you were waiting. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm chill.
Sherman, you're at a 19.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll for Brandy, or would you like to, Aaron?
Go ahead and roll for her.
Okay, Brandy's good. She's got 16.
Ooh, do I need to roll an initiative for Barnaby now that we are separate entities.
If you command Barnaby to like come over to you, Barnaby's gonna pretty much act like a familiar. I mean, if you would like Barnaby to, we'll just say that Barnaby acts on your turn.
Okay.
You guys had spent enough time on the Saffron Citrine to become at least familiar with the entire crew by name. We only really spoke about Califran and Bernice, but you guys got to know who the crew were, at least their names, and not much more because the Apostleship really don't, as we saw between Timothy and Bernice, don't have long get to know you conversations very often. So the other crew members were Maris, a female human, Hanlon, who is a male half-elf, Silas, who is a male Triton, and Tritons are the like aquatic kind of mer humanoids, and Elisar, who is a female pallid elf, which is kind of like a moon elf female, and then Tondo, who is another human male, and then a tabaxi named Hidden Clover, who is also female. You guys are basically being chased by Bernice, Maris, Hanlon, and Silas, just so that we can identify who we're dealing with during this encounter, rather than just saying Apostleship number 1, Apostleship number 2. So, and I'll say those names over and over again, but feel free to ask me again if you need. All right, so Sherman, it is technically still your turn as Bernice kicked you off of Barnaby's back. You fly forward because you kind of have a little bit momentum in that direction anyway, and now you've just been shoved from the back with her foot. You tuck and roll onto the ground. Barnaby just is kind of still standing there, or more like trotting forward a little bit because he knows that you just fell off of him. So tell me what you're doing.
Have I hit the ground yet?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're on a decline still, right?
No, it's flat down here. You guys had come.
We got all the way down. Okay.
Yep, you got all the way down.
All right, I understand. I understand, Aaron. You're taking away my sand surfing scene. I get it. Okay. We'll do it live. I'm kidding.
Sherman just wants to surf at every opportunity.
Oh my gosh. How does this big buff dog do everything that Legolas can do?
Yes, exactly. It's Legolas for sure.
Okay.
I want to trunk surf.
Well, then, I am not going to scoot on my shield on my belly down that's not gonna work.
If anything, you probably had your shield like on your back while you were riding. Yeah. She slammed her foot into your shield, knocked you forward. You rotate in the air and land and like slide on your shield on the ground.
You're like a turtle upended.
Okay, so I'm just gonna yell, Barnaby, catch up with me, and I'm gonna just continue doing a full disengage dash.
All right, so you got to use half your movement, stand up, because as you fall off the horse, you go prone.
And if we synchronize during that time, then I'll jump back on. But if not, I'm just going to keep running towards the next obstacle.
Okay, so you hop up, you tell Barnaby, he trots forward, and you use your action to climb onto his back again and continue moving with him. He's basically going to get half of his movement this turn because he had to spend half of the turn waiting for you to get back on his back.
Okay.
You guys are able to move like 30 feet forward.
Gotcha.
And 30 feet is actually enough to get to the next tripwire. So roll an animal handling check.
Okay.
This time you have advantage on the roll because you're not going that fast.
All right, Barnaby. This is gonna be effectively like last time, but better. So you had me roll advantage, right?
Yes.
Oh,
So I got a 9 and a 10, so that's gonna be an 11.
Okay.
For the animal handling.
11 is enough.
Okay.
So Barnaby's like,
All right, I remember this time.
and you jump over the next one, and you guys are not quite to the third one at the end of your turn. Moving down, it is Brandy's turn, but I'm assuming Brandy's holding.
She's holding until someone's in range for her to jump on their head.
Got it. Next up is Maris. the human female. She is kind of behind the pack. She's running forward. I'm going to give her a perception check to see if she sees the tripwire before getting there. She rolled a 18. Maris jumps over the tripwire, but you guys do notice they're not communicating with each other. All of their perceptions or all of their perspectives are simply, Aster's. And so Aster, she'd have to communicate that herself between all of them, but there's kind of this mix of what Aster can do and what the target, what the person under her spell can do. So you know that they're not having to physically share that information among each other. She jumps over and she continues to run after Sherman. I'm going to give her one more perception check. Timothy and Flowerkraut, I need you guys to roll a stealth check.
Oh, good. My beautiful +0.
That's a 24.
I rolled an 18.
Okay, so Maris runs pretty much right past you guys, or at least is in within the area of where you guys are hiding, but does not seem to notice you. It is Timothy's turn.
I am going to quickly thieves' cant. I hold up a fist, hold, and then I turn my finger around like it's a spinning clock until I put up a 0, the last, and then I put up a finger 1 to the rest of the Creckle. I basically signaled hold until the last one.
Okay, so they catch your message. They are continuing to hide. Are you doing anything else?
I'm going to hold my action in hopes that someone trips up on these tripwires. If not, we're going to start swinging those bolas, and I'm going to try and get to somebody.
Okay, Hanlon is up next.
How's he handling it, though?
And we're going to find out real quick here. Does Hanlon see the tripwire? Nope. Hanlon runs right behind Maris. Maris jumped, like doesn't even jump over it. Maris kind of just in stride steps over it with that because she's running so fast. Hanlon's feet don't seem to be in the right sequence, catches the trip, and with all of the commotion going on with Bernice, flying up and kicking Sherman, all of their focus is like catch that dog. Hanlon trips and flies forward, rolls a 7 on his dex save, and hits the ground. So Hanlon is basically in the middle of pulling himself up to his feet. Is anything happening in this moment?
Should we signal a Creckle to use the bola?
If he's already down, we might be able to just get to him right now.
He's trying to get up, though.
Yeah, he's going to be using the rest of his turn to get back up on his feet.
Okay, well then, real quick, just can I rewind it? Instead of saying hold to the last one, I just put up a hand that just kind of, with the fist in the air that just says hold.
Hold.
Yes.
To the rest of the Creckle.
Yep.
And then as soon as he trips up, I point at him.
You do that, and essentially we're going to say that the Creckle, because I haven't added the Creckle to the initiative, they are essentially a tool for you guys to use during this encounter. You do that, and I'm going to say that 2 of the 8, you've dispersed them throughout this ambush area so that you've got 2, 2, 2, and 2 as you get further down around the tripwires. So 2 of them are standing at the sides of each, or hiding at the sides of each of the 4 tripwires. The 2 that are nearest Hanlon are going to jump out and attempt to wrap him up. So he is technically prone. They're both gonna throw their bolas at him. He starts to pull himself up. He's in like a kneeling position, and that's when they both come from the sides and just whip the bolas at him. So let's give each one a roll. First one rolls a 17 to hit. That is a hit. Second Creckle, oh shit, rolls a dirty 20. So
Nice.
both bolas go around Hanlon. He is entangled. He has no movement. I mean, technically, because both his feet and his arms are wrapped, he is restrained. There's no movement, no actions until he can break out of this. Maris.
Yeah, that one's mine. So Flowerkraut silently gestures, that's mine. It's like a Mad Max style when everyone's using his shit. They have his jacket. Mine.
I nod, looking at Flowerkraut, and I dash to Maris.
So there's think of the 4 tripwires as 4 different lengths of the ambush area, okay? And you guys have spread these out roughly 30 feet apart from each other. You're kind of in between, the first and second tripwires. Maris is already at the second tripwire, but hasn't gone over it yet.
Yeah, I'm leaving Brandy to get ready to pounce on Maris.
And that's where Sherman is as well. She's essentially right on Sherman's heels. Bernice is kind of in between, is kind of standing a little bit ahead of Hanlon right now, but hasn't noticed that he just got wrapped up because she's breaking into a sprint again. Once Maris is in that area, Brandy's gonna break initiative and jump down.
Yep, Brandy's been holding her action, so she's just waiting for somebody to get in range, and she's gonna jump on their head.
And there's no way I could catch up to Bernice, right?
Here's the thing, though. Because you're readying an action, you're not getting the full turn, so you're not going to get like a movement and an action. You can move right now, or you can do an action as a reaction to Hanlon falling down. As a free action, you gave the signal, which then the Creckle came out and did their thing. You still technically have one thing you can do as part of your reaction to right now.
Flowerkraut, you're gonna try and get him, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get Hanlon, and Brandy is on top of Maris, and we still don't have Silas tripped yet. So you can either stick to getting.
I've got an idea. So I don't have much of an action left. So when I kind of look at you and you give me that silent but affirming nod that one's yours, I give you a wink and I give you bardic inspiration.
Thank you.
And I give you a solemn but also affirmative nod.
With the Creckle coming out and tying Hanlon down, they are aware that they are in an ambush type of situation here.
But that doesn't mean they know that there are traps on the ground.
Hey, exactly. That's right. So
we're doing this Ewok style.
Okay, so we are going to move down to Silas, who is at initiative 9. Silas is the Triton, so he's like the merman dude.
I'm a merman.
His name is Merman Jeopard.
I'm a merman.
I just watched that 2 nights ago. Merman.
Sherman, my lost brother. We have the same name. All right, so Silas comes running up. He sees what happened to Hanlon. He sees that there's the tripwire there because that's obvious, and he is going to actually attack the Creckle who just tied him up.
Oh no.
So Silas goes after the Creckle. He hits one of them twice. He straight up knocks one of the Creckle scouts out.
No.
Just kicks him. One of the Creckle scout goes flying and slides on the ground. And it looks like, in his next action, he's probably going to turn towards the other Creckle. But he used both of his attacks on one of them. So that was Silas's turn. Flowerkraut, you are at 1.
Okie dokie. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to the plan, even though that was total bullshit. She's running up to the Hanlon.
Okay. You run up to Hanlon. Silas is standing pretty much nearby, like on the other side of Hanlon from you.
Ooh, maybe I should blast him away.
Same time, Hanlon is going to get a chance on his next turn to get himself out of these restraints.
It's worth the risk.
Can I blast Silas and then smudge Hanlon?
I would say you need to do it in reverse order because you've got the salve on your hand, correct?
Yeah.
As much as we like to joke that its elderly blast is just coming out of your butt, I believe there's a semantic component to Eldritch Blast, which means you've got to use your hands in order to cast it.
Gotta spread them cheeks.
Oh, great. Oh, manual spread. Great.
Here's the rub behind it.
The rub behind the salve.
Literally the rub behind the salve. So if you are applying it to someone who doesn't have a chance of, like, someone who's either unconscious, not moving, restrained, like this in the case of Hanlon, you can use a bonus action to apply the salve. If they are not restrained, if they are aware of what's going on, you will have to use an action because it's going to become kind of like a grapple check. So Flowerkraut, you can use your bonus action to apply the salve to his forehead, and then you can use your action to blast Silas.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go for Hanlon first.
Okay. So you run up to Hanlon and you do the Simba.
Give him
Shimba.
You rub the salve over his forehead, and Hanlon screams in pain. You watch as the mystical threads you had seen back when you saw the Helax rise as thralls, the thread attached to Hanlon appears to you.
Oh.
And it glistens against the sun, and then with the smear completed, it snaps.
Oof.
Hanlon lets out a scream, and then he falls down,
Oh.
like unconscious. But you have verified in your own eyes that the spell was broken.
Yeah. Okay.
The connection must be stronger with them.
Yeah. I don't know if we can rely on their help if they get knocked out like that. Flowerkraut's a little bit concerned about Bernice.
Bernice is tough.
It's like a violent separation of the spell. Their mind is actually ripped from the spell, and it seems to be that the side effect, which you had no idea up until now, is that it's not a very pleasant experience, and it seems like he's free from the spell, but he's not really in good condition.
Got it. All right, Flowerkraut, now that Silas is in the mix, she's gonna go for Mirror Image, especially after watching him kick the shit out of one of the Creckle. She is wanting all eyes on her, on all four of her, and yeah, she casts Mirror Image.
All right, you cast Mirror Image, which is great as the Creckle is kind of trying to back away from Silas after seeing what just happened. And Silas, not his turn yet, but he sees all four of you kind of appear and comes, defensive position, fists are up, and his attention seems to be more drawn to you, especially after what you just did to Hanlon. We are moving up to the top of the round. It is both Sherman and Bernice's turn at 19.
But she has higher dex,
She does have higher dex.
so it's technically hers.
She sprints forward using her voice to catch up to you. You do notice that she did hit you hard in this last round, but they are only able to use their voice for any one application at a time. So if she's using her voice to run faster, she's not going to be able to use her voice in her strikes. So she has to do that in order to close the distance with you. You're on the back of Barnaby again. You have already passed up the second tripwire. So she first has to roll perception to see if she sees it. She does. She basically watched Barnaby trot over it, and she flies up in the air, but she only rolls an 8 on the die, so she connects with your shield on your back again, but doesn't put enough strength into the strike and kind of bounces off of you and lands on her feet again. As she's coming down, she is going to try and trip Barnaby.
How rude.
Of course, he's got 4 legs, so that's going to be one hell of a feat.
Trip a sandbuck. How dare you?
She does a sweeping kick to Barnaby, but it literally is met by just solid sandbuck, and she's unable to do anything. So
I don't give a sand fuck about you.
all right, Sherman, what are you doing on your turn?
Sherman touches his forehead. Is the stuff on my forehead still wet?
No, it's very dried.
Damn it.
It's like crusted on you.
Okay. I feel like everyone is like kind of getting into the mix behind me now. So, Sherman is going to have Barnaby kind of like Glavio drift a little bit and like turn horizontal.
Okay.
To Bernice, and Sherman is going to jump off in an attempt to deliver a flying headbutt to Bernice while yelling, "Snap out of it!"
All right. We'll take this as a grapple check because you're coming off of the top of a sandbuck and you have the high ground. You will roll with advantage.
Okay.
So athletics against her acrobatics as he's basically looking to dodge out of the way of your headbutt.
I rolled math,
Okay.
which is
Math rocks?
mathematics of the mind. 25.
Wow.
Holy shit. Okay, I was gonna say you have to beat a 17. And I was thinking she did a really good job. You fly down, scream snap out of it to her, and land on top of her as you slam your head into hers and kind of bring all of your weight down. She is prone on the ground underneath you.
Yes.
So I'm guessing you're looking to hold her down.
I feel like Sherman is also like, he doesn't fully understand how this works, right? So Sherman is grinding his forehead into her, hoping like that, like at least something like smears off into her system.
Ah, okay. It doesn't look like that's working, but I will mention that where you landed on her further up, you had passed up the second tripwire. You are right underneath where Brandy is, holding her on the ground.
Oh.
Ooh, give Brandy a command she's been holding since last round. She's ready.
I feel like I need to roll like a cool check. Not like a cool check, but like if I'm keeping my cool and like if I'm not like, what would that be? Like a composure check.
It would probably be a willpower or wisdom save.
Okay, because in this exact precise moment, I don't know if Sherman is thinking about that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Is Brandy just ready to pounce on whoever?
Brandy's ready to pounce.
Okay, Brandy's going.
I think the original mind command you had given Brandy was to wait for Maris to get there.
Mm-hmm.
But, Brandy's ready to break initiative whenever.
Great.
So go ahead and give me a wisdom save, Sherman.
okay. 14.
You remember where Brandy had climbed up into the shady pillar, and it's right next to you.
Okay. I look at Bernice and like I'm hoping like just kind of like have her pinned, right? And I'm hoping that she's like coming to, but it doesn't look like she's coming to. The eyes are still glazed over, and so it's not that Sherman's intentionally leaves her open, but she's definitely open for a face hugger. Yeah.
A face hugger?
So are you calling out to Brandy?
I don't think I would call out to I don't think Sherman would call out to Brandy.
Okay. Brandy's got her eyes on Maris, who's coming up behind you. So, all right. You're holding Bernice down. We'll move on to technically this would be Brandy's turn, but Brandy is holding. Maris comes running up behind you and is going to attempt to throw you off of Bernice, but Brandy's breaking initiative because this is what Brandy was told to do.
See, this is better. This is funnier too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Janelle, I need you to roll the sleight of hand check is going to be based off of dexterity, but you're going to be rolling at advantage because Brandy's hidden.
Nice.
So I think Brandy's got a +2 to dex.
She sure does.
Give me a dex check with advantage.
The first one is a 16 plus a 2, so 18. And the next one is a 5, so we'll go with the 18, please.
18. Maris comes running up eyes definitely locked on Sherman holding Bernice down. Brandy flies out through the air like a flying squirrel, tentacles flapping except for the one that counts, lands on Maris's face and smears
Facehugger mode.
Yeah. Brandy's used to landing on people's heads for a different reason.
This is like Homer Simpson getting jumped on by the cat in the face. Like, classic.
And smears the salve onto Maris, who also screams. Flowercrow, you can hear it behind you. So another scream of pain, and Maris collapses with Brandy still like on her head, canceling out Maris's action to do anything about Sherman being holding Bernice down. It is Timothy's turn.
I'm gonna look over to the Creckle scout that was knocked out. Can I infer, like, is he doing death saving throws right now?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to bonus action then healing word
Okay.
the Creckle scout.
All right. You send your healing word over to him, and you just see like a sudden gasp for air as he's laying on the ground.
And I'm hoping that the other scout that he was with is going to at least try and tend to him. And then I'm just going to look to see who's closest to me at this moment.
You are kind of in between where Flowercrout is, who's with Silas and Hanlon and the other Creckle, and in the other direction from you where Sherman is holding Bernice down and Maris is unconscious or laying on the ground. So you have options to run in either direction.
Yes. Help get that Bernice.
Yeah, I see the struggle with Sherman and Bernice, and I'm gonna head that way.
Okay. So you run over there. You can make it there with just your movement.
And I'm going to attempt to get her with the salve, and I yell out, "He said snap out of it!"
Okay, you smear the salve on Bernice's head as Sherman struggles to keep her on the ground, but she doesn't seem to be able to get out. And she roars in pain and then stops struggling.
All right, at least this is going somewhat to plan.
It is Hanlon's turn. He's on the ground. Moving down to Silas. He changes his attention to Flowercrow and he attacks you. Give me a mirror image roll.
To roll a d20, and I need to roll on this first one a 6 or higher. I rolled a 14.
Okay.
So he attacks a mirror image.
That is a 17 to hit. He strikes one of your mirror images, poofs. He snaps his head towards the rest of you and makes a second attack against you. So give me another roll.
Okay, this one I have to do an 8 or higher.
Okay.
I got a 13.
Whew.
This time he rolls a 22 to hit.
That mirror image is coming in clutch right now.
Yeah, oh my god.
Blasts through another mirror image. It's just you and one image left, and that is the end of his turn. It is your turn, Flowercrow.
Okay, can I grab a little bit of goo and grapple this guy?
The old Flowercrout goo grapple.
The classic move. Everybody loves it.
I haven't done this since the booze cruise.
Ah, that's right.
It's just like, what, mud wrestling? Goo wrestling?
Pudding wrestling.
All right, so you and your clone approach this guy, kind of like flanking him. So he doesn't know which one of you to really defend against. I will give you advantage on your roll. Again, you can use athletics or you can use sleight of hand. You also have a bardic inspiration at your disposal.
Okay. First one was an 11. And the second one was a 19.
Holy shit.
I rolled a 6.
25.
25.
Wow.
All right. Silas is going to make his acrobatics check to try to avoid getting grappled by you. He has to.
Good luck, bud.
Oh my god, please.
He rolled it. He rolled a 23.
Whoa.
Come here.
I love this scene because you've got old like hunchback Flowerkraut circling around Silas with her clone behind him, and he's looking back and forth between the two. He's not sure which one's going to try and pounce on him.
And Flowerkraut sucks so bad with anything involving athletics. But it's all about the clone and the inspiration.
Yeah, the clone goes underneath him, tries to go for a low, grab his legs. He looks down, but then you jump up high and smear his forehead. And Silas yells out in pain and falls back and hits the ground. And you guys are technically out of combat now.
So immediately what's happening over with Sherman and Bernice is Sherman is trying to rouse her out of whatever unconscious state she's in. He doesn't understand what exactly is going on, if she is just hasn't woken up or if she is completely unconscious dying situation.
You check her vitals and she is not unconscious, but she is barely conscious. Her eyes are closed, but you can tell that it's because she's wincing in pain.
Okay, God, this is gonna be something that let me hold on, center myself. Come on, Bernice, come on, you're stronger than this. You can get up. Come on, get up.
Bernice opens up one eye. The other one still clenched shut, as you can see in her face that she's going through immense pain, and it is in her head.
Sherman's looks at that eye and says, I'm really sorry about this. You can slap me later if it's not appropriate, but... And he lifts the cover covering her mouth and gives her a full 5-point lay on hands kiss.
Oh!
A divine kiss that could technically cure any disease or neutralize a poison, even if it's a brain disease or poison. One, because he doesn't know what else to do, and two, because this is that moment that everyone's been waiting for.
Bernice opens up the other eye, and you can see that you have definitely taken a lot of the pain away. And she just brings one paw up and just puts it on the side of your face, and then sits up and kisses you back.
The ship is sailing!
The tail wags. The chainmail goes click, 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 click. Oh, wow. Realizing that this is actually happening, Sherman then gets bashful and sits the rest of the way up, considering technically he's straddling her. So he's and he just out of courtesy just puts the mouth covering back down, and if dogs could blush,
she slowly pulls herself up and picks up her mask and dusts it off, puts it back on her face. She just kind of looks at you, with this gaze of thank you. You just see this absolute admiration in her eyes. And then she steps over to where Maris is laying nearby. And Maris is, still in pain, kind of puts her paw on her forehead, on the top of her head. And you guys notice that it does seem to hurt them, but the pain eventually subsides. However, Bernice, Maris, Hanlon, and Silas look like they are weak. They are maybe suffering exhaustion from the side effects of having the spell ripped out of them. She's not moving very fast. The other Creckle does go to tend to his friend, and they both get up, and
I follow suit to also help him get up.
you help him up, and he looks at you and squawks, at you and gives you a thieves' cant of, "You?" question.
It was all of us.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
We win?
We're getting there. There's still some more left to do, but I look around and I have two of the other Creckle come over, and I help this one over. I assume we're kind of bringing everyone together at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I bring the injured Creckle and I sit him down, and then I look at two of the remaining scouts, and I start to thieves' cant to watch over this group.
They acknowledge you.
Okay, and so is there any kind of tell as far as how much time has passed during this whole situation? Have there been any increasing, like, I don't know, earth tremors or any bad omens?
No, not during this time. You haven't noticed anything. You haven't also noticed any other apostleship disciples come running to their aid. As you look off towards the ridge, there's no one there.
It's like Hunter x Hunter when like 15 episodes pass, and it's like, and only 30 seconds have passed.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think we only did 2 rounds of combat, so technically I think that's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops.
Yeah, it's very quick.
It was 12 seconds. Like in D&D, a round is 6 seconds long.
Oh my gosh.
I was thinking more of the planning, the build-up, the setup. Okay, so it doesn't feel like we're behind the 8 ball here yet.
No, but there's still 3 more of them left.
Flowerkraut goes up to Bernice. She says, "Hey, how you doing?"
Bernice rubs her head and just kind of shakes her head a little bit, and kind of gives you this look of hurtin'.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Flowerkraut holds out the salve to show her. We found a way to help people break the thraldom, but as you can see, there's not a whole lot left. Can you give us any insight on what we're gonna deal with when we get up there again? I know we have 3 more guards. Do you know anything else that we're having to deal with?
She looks around and spies Timothy and kind of motions Timothy to come over.
I take one last glance at the Creckle scout who's injured, and I just give him a nod to make sure that he's going to be okay.
He nods back at you, and he's kind of sitting up against a pillar, one of the columns in the shade, gives you a feathery thumbs up.
All right. Then I move over to Bernice.
Bernice chimes, and she begins to chime, like sometimes when there's not a word in the chime language, she'll chime the letters. So she spells out Califran.
Califran is definitely going to be waiting for us.
So it's 3 others plus Califran. Is Califran with Aster?
She chimes no, and then she chimes cave.
It doesn't seem that Aster is with him, but Califran is in the cave.
She points down at the salve and chimes how much?
We can save 6 more this way. So we got to choose carefully. And then the rest is up to us kicking Aster's ass.
She spells out Helax, and then she says into the chime, digging.
This is what we were also worried about. The Helax are digging, and I'm sure we can all figure out what for.
Yeah.
Then we are running out of time.
Chimes, yes.
Sherman doesn't even say anything. He just gets a really sour look, like a not happy look, and he doesn't unsheath the sword, but he pulls the sword from his back, and he doesn't communicate, or he doesn't say anything to Timothy or Flowerkraut. He just looks at them, and he just starts walking. And then Barnaby's like, "I guess I'm done."
It's easier to ride instead of walk. Okay, you just keep walking.
I'm not gonna dispel Barnaby, so if he just walks behind us, I'm fine.
I guess I'll just trail behind.
I look to the remaining Creckle, and with the two guards just watching over, with the two scouts watching over, and then one of them injured. I assume that leaves 5 Creckle with us.
Yeah, so there's the injured one. You left 2 to guard, to hang out with. You're having them hang out with the Apostleship?
Just to keep them safe.
And the injured one as well. So the injured one isn't in the count of those who are watching over.
Correct.
Yeah, so 3 with the Apostleship, 5 with us. And the 5 with us, we would like them to have the, what is it, the bolas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep a safe distance between us and them. I don't want any more Creckle getting hurt.
All right, so are you guys heading towards the ridge with the 5 scouts?
At this point, I think we're just gonna have to take the direct approach.
Indeed.
You guys begin walking, and then you hear a chime from back where Bernice is. And she just says, Timothy, tell Sherman to keep his head together.
Don't worry, Bernice. I'll keep an eye on him.
All right, you guys head up the ridge, and there you find the 3 disciples still in the place that you had last seen them, Sherman, unmoving. However, as you all come walking up and onto the flat terrain before the cave, they each snap with a new command, similar to the way the 4 had before. And you see them begin to spread out a little bit. The 3 move to the sides of the cave's mouth, and they have their arms up in a defensive fighting position. And out from the darkness of the cave steps Califran, and he walks up, standing in the middle with disciples to his left and to his right. And you see as he begins to remove the top part of his robe and throws it to the side, where now he is standing there with just like the billowing pants, and he is shirtless. And he looks straight at Flowerkraut. You see Califran's head snap a little bit, and he goes,
Flowerkraut, you should have joined us. I would have considered sparing these people for you. You could have given us the last remaining pieces of the heart and taken your place by Mother's side. Now, I have no choice but to take them from you and your friends. Everyone here will suffer thanks to you.
and Califran reaches to his waist and unwraps this whip. It comes off like a belt and snaps as it reaches the end, and looks straight to you and begins to walk forward. And that is where we will end our episode.
Winds with you, BB Army, broken winds notwithstanding. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Break, Battle, and Roll. We hope you're enjoying our adventure as much as we are in creating it. If you're looking for more ways to connect with Break, Battle, and Roll, follow our Instagram and Twitter, both at Break, Battle, Roll, or stop by and give us a like on the Break, Battle, and Roll Facebook page. Or if following the individual nerds is more your thing, you can follow Chad Stafford on his Instagram and Twitter at It's Chit Chad, as well as his YouTube channels, Chit Chad and Chit Chad Plays. You can follow me, Janelle Wilkie, on my Instagram at janelle.wilkie, Or you can join Dustin Bleshmidt as he streams on twitch.tv/thefinaldestination. And follow his Instagram and TikTok, both at @the_final_destination. And his Twitter at FINL_destination. You can also find our beloved barkeep and dungeon daddy, Aaron Rollins, on Twitter at Arkuma, that's AARKUMA. We must also sing the praises of our amazing musicians, Ben Holland and Rory O'Neill, who provided our theme song and many of the original musical scores in the podcast. Ben can be found on SoundCloud, and you can follow Rory on Twitter at Trench Warfare. Now that you're part of the BB Army, we'd love your help in spreading the word throughout the realm. Sharing our podcast with friends and writing reviews helps a young podcast like ours so much. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go pester the barkeep for another drink. Until next time.